All right, ladies and germs, in unsurprising news, the Charger Daytona EV has been delayed. Let's talk about it. Before we get into today's video, I'd like to take this time to plug my Amazon storefront. I have one of those now. We've got all sorts of things on there for our fellow content creators, ranging from, but not limited to, PC parts, recording equipment, and even car accessories from my car homies. The link to that will be in the description down below. Check it out. The more money we generate off of this, the better the content is going to get down the line. Now let's get with it. According to Car Scoops, the Charger Daytona EV has been delayed 90 days due to electrical issues. A fully electric car has been delayed 90 days due to electrical issues. You take that information how you will. According to Car Scoops, one of their readers photographed a Charger Daytona prototype on the back of a flatbed with straps passing through the windows to hold it down. I'm assuming because it bricked out on the road and they had to haul it somewhere, what have you. And then we've got issues with engineers unable to open the lift gate in the back and having to pass through the inside cabin to get to the storage area, among other issues. That explains why we've seen all the photos of these things, like spy shots with like the trunk being held shut with like straps or like having wires hanging out of them or what have you. I hope consumers are paying attention. Like if they're having electric issues with it to the point where they have to push it back 90 days, I think most people should steer clear of this thing until like a year or two after its release. Like, Dodge, they eventually get it right, but like after like the second or third try, this thing in its first generation is going to be a headache and a half for anybody who makes the poor decision of purchasing it. You shouldn't buy a first generation new car anyway, especially if it's an EV. And then this is a Stellantis product, which means that the quality is most certainly going to be questionable at best. There is a lot of pressure being put on this thing. It's the first EV offering from Dodge and their first clean sheet design in who knows how long. There's a lot riding on its success. Stellantis has to ensure that the rollout is as smooth as possible, especially given the fact that most of the community already isn't feeling it. If it gets here and it sucks, it's dead in the water. Personally, I think Stellantis should delay the release of the EV even further so that they can take the time to buff out all the kinks and expedite the release of the six-pack variant, because various polls done across the car community are showing that more of the Mopar community is interested in the six-pack variant anyway. Now, the optimist in me wants to see this thing do well, but the realist in me knows that it has a very big uphill battle ahead of it. You've got lack of electric infrastructure, pricing. You already know this thing's going to be expensive as hell. And then dealer markups are going to make it even pricier. Like, it's got a lot of issues that are going to plague this thing on its release. And then there's the state of the market right now, the big kicker. Less people are buying EVs right now. And I don't see that changing by the time this thing releases. Like, depending on how they plan on addressing those factors, this thing might be dead in the water. Personally, I'd get the six-pack version with the high output Hurricane in it, making the 550 horses. That's the smart decision. It's an inline six. It's a pretty tried and true style of motor. It's pretty damn hard to fuck that up. But then again, it is Stellantis. I wouldn't be surprised if they figured out how. Should probably wait a year for this one too. Not only that, but I feel like the current state of Dodge dealerships is going to work against this car. Like, we've got Dodge dealerships across the country flooded with inventory due to like high interest and dealership greed. And I can't imagine this car, which is already expected to be pricey due to all of its technology and shit inside of it, is going to be any different. And let's say, for instance, Dodge does manage to buff out all the kinks on the EV and they have it ready to release within the next 90 days. There's still the issue of Dodge inventories being flooded to the brim with stuff from previous model years that isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Even if they do get this thing out by fall of 2024, there's no guarantee there'll be enough space on lots to support it. As you can see, there's a lot of pitfalls that the Daytona EV is going to have to overcome before it's viable to the public. And given that knowledge, I think they should delay it. And they should expedite the release of the gas one. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below.